But you take him at face value. I mean, by this stage, he was giving huge amounts of money away.
I don't take him at face value.
Well, you've got to
bullshit. I don't take him at face value at all.
Well,
My
okay,
God.
so let me ask a question rather than making an assertion. Is he sincere? Did you believe in him? How much of this was genuine? Could anyone be that otherworldly who had chosen to live in a multi-billion-dollar complex in the Bahamas?
You don't appreciate how great this story is unless you appreciate how deeply wedded to the effective altruism stuff he was. It was not for show. This condo keeps coming up because it's like the one example of material. He didn't buy them in the first place.
But he didn't seem to care about what happened to the money. If he actually cared about the effective altruism.
There was a reason he bought these. When you go to the Bahamas and you need to move 150 people from Hong Kong overnight into the Bahamas who don't want to go to the Bahamas, you better give them a nice place to live. And there wasn't a whole lot of other. You try to buy that kind of property, and he thought it was just going to hold his value. He was not. I said this on television the other day, and I got in trouble for it, but it's absolutely true. If you gave Sam Bankman-Fried a choice, spend the rest of his life in jail with an internet connection, or spend the rest of his life in that Bahamas condo without one, he'd much rather be in jail. That's not what gets him off. What gets him off is the information flow. And the material stuff, people around him were not indifferent to it. Nobody around him was indifferent to it. But that part's real. The effective altruist part, the wedded to it, it was his identity. So that part's real. Now, they're problematic parts, but you got to accept that's real if you want to understand this person in the story.
Okay, a couple more from me, and I'm keen to open it up to the floor.
Really, already? I thought we were just getting going.
Yeah, no,
Is it because I said bullshit?
No, oh no.
I'm allowed to argue back, right?
Of course you are. That's the best way.
What you've got in your brain right now is partly a result of crypto Twitter. It's like noise coming in that's just like, I don't know why this world is so threatened by a portrayal of the actual person.
But let me ask a question of you and how you relate to him. He isn't like a lot of the contrarians or oddballs that perhaps you've written about in the past. If we think about Billy Beane in Moneyball, for instance, used data and analytics to build a winning baseball team, was out on his own, out on a limb. Similarly, Michael Burry in The Big Short. Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't fit into that mold. Has he taken you by surprise? He's not quite the sort of underdog, the hero.
I would never, other people misdescribe my books. If you look at the characters in The Big Short, some of them are quite problematic characters. And so I'm not looking for a hero, ever. It's the last thing from my mind. When I'm looking at characters, when you say, and I've gotten more character-driven. What am I looking for? Fun is one of the things I'm looking for.
But is it fun? $8 billion appears to be missing. People are in court.
You know what? So it's getting more interesting than that. You say that, $8 billion. How much do you think is actually missing?
I don't know.
You don't know. So here, I'll tell you how much is actually missing, and this is where it's getting really odd. So the bankruptcy people have said that there's $8.6 billion in missing customer deposits, and that as of June, they had located $7.3 billion, and it wasn't like clawbacks, it was just there. $7.3 billion, so it's $1.3 billion that's missing. Plus, and they said there's still more to be found.
It's a huge number,
hold on.
billion.
Will you hold on? This is where, today, the prosecution sent a motion to the court saying, can we please not talk about the possibility that customers are all going to get their money back? And that in particular, you going to let me finish?
I am.
Do you care?
Come on, I've got one more. I need to let them in.
Hold on. Do you care how much is missing?
I think what I care about is the fact that at the very least,
you thought it was important, but now you don't think it's important.
I do think it's important. I think at the very least, he's irresponsible.
Of course. I'm not saying he's not irresponsible. I'm saying it's just different than you think. So I'm going to finish my thought. This is where it gets very cool. So he bought, to the outrage of his colleagues, a 20% stake in an AI company called Anthropic, along with several hundred other venture capital investments. This stake looks like it's now valued at, the company, when he bought it, was valued at a couple of $1 billion. The company now looks like it's valued at $30 billion. And the prosecution does not want the jury to know that, my God, they're all going to get their money back. Now, it may be irrelevant from a legal point of view, but from a social point of view, and from the point, I'm a creditor. I had money on his exchange. I care about that. So I think it's relevant and may speak to intent. As for what I look for, the number one thing is, are they going to teach us about the world? And are they, one, themselves good teachers and explainers? And he's a very good explainer and teacher. But are there circumstances revealing to us things about the world? And the reason, I didn't write a word about this book. I wasn't even sure I had a book until November, until it all fell apart. But I didn't write a word about it till January. So it's not like there are words in this book that got made up before it all went bad. It's the Sam Bankman-Fried shaped hole. This is a bizarre situation. He goes from nothing to having $22 billion in 18 months. The whole world reshapes itself around him in ways that are telling you about the world. And then when it all collapses, all the people who were with him turn on him. All the media that was with him turn on him. And he's continuing to light up the world in an interesting way. So that's what appeals to me. It isn't, is he a hero? Can he tell us things?
Okay.